Welcome back to Fit or Flop. I'm Jake Holsinger.
And I'm Will Bowles. We're back with yet another episode of Fit or Flop, and this time we were taking on one of the most polarizing names in the fitness industry to date.
And that man is none other than Brian Johnson, or more popularly known as Liver King. If you've been on social media this past year, you've seen this guy feeding on raw flesh, slurping down shots of blood, and preaching the advantages of a primal way of life to the masses.
His content is unlike any other content you will see in the health and fitness scene, and his program isn't even a program, it's a way of life.
After investigating more of his lifestyle, business, and ancestral tenets, he has transformed into a religion of sorts for his followers. Of course, we have our own take, which isn't as black and white as normal.
So let's dive deeper into the good, the bad, and the ugly that composes the framework of the Liver King.
Let's get it.
The Liver King is a flesh-eating, blood-chugging, cult-like leader who is encouraging the masses to return to a more primitive state, to their primal roots. On his website, he states that the human organism is a superbly adapted specimen that was intended for an environment that no longer exists. He and his team are on a mission to help guide people back to their primal roots by putting back what the modern world left out, returning our people back to strength and happiness.
We said this review wasn't gonna be so black and white, and it's only fitting because this dude is one colorful character.
I remember seeing this guy when he had 23,000 followers on Instagram, crushing raw meat, and I remember thinking, this guy's gonna be everywhere.
Fast forward to a year or so, and this guy is flying around on jets, doing workouts in the middle of New York City, and is eating more raw meat than one of Joe Exotic's tigers.
Since then, he and his business team have conjured up the primal lifestyle and the accompanying ancestral tenets that are destined to turn you back to the primal beast you were always meant to be. All right, so let's get into the good about Liver King.
Liver King is on a mission to get people outside and in shape, a vital combination of a true healthy life that many lack in today's society.
So many people rely on technology to do so many things for us that we as people have gotten softer and more sedentary. Add this to the sitting in a chair all day for their job, and it only makes the situation far worse.
The Liver King's push to a more active life that gets people outdoors and challenging themselves physically is something that we can definitely get behind. There's a lot of positive traits within the 9 ancestral tenets that he preaches.
The structure of the tenets goes as follows. First is sleep. He explains the importance of sleep and the importance it plays in your life. The second is eating. This is where he preaches eating an animal from nose to tail or horn to hooves. Pretty gnarly. Now there's a lot to unpack here, but there is also a lot of good centered around the importance of minimizing waste when taking the life of any animal, which is a solid principle to follow.
The third tenet is to move, which encourages people to get up and push your limits physically, clearly a positive thing. Coming in fourth is shield, where he breaks down how to stay shielded and safe from the 4 of our largest threats in modern society: processed foods, excessive Wi-Fi, perfume, and plastics.
I thought that was pretty crazy. I mean, of all the things that really threaten us, and there are a lot today, but to say that perfumes is coming in on top, all right, Liver King, waging war. He probably does not smell very good. The positives we found with this tenet was the laughter we experienced after hearing him rattle these off stone-faced while acknowledging that our ancestors waged war against lions. But this is our modern battle, where we and our fellow primal plan on waging war. At the number 5 spot, we have Connect, where he tells people to take off their shoes and connect with the earth. Again, another push towards nature, which we can get behind.
6 is Get Cold, which has a lot of science that reinforces the value of this practice.
7 is Get in the sun. Running into some redundancy here, but again, you need the vitamin D.
8 is Fight. There's a lot of interesting language that explains this one, which makes it an easy target to tear to shreds. However, there is a silver lining with his instruction to look for opportunities that will scare the shit out of yourself. Essentially, it boils down to pushing your limits and experiencing new things, which is another vital part of human experience. And finally, 9 is Bond, which is something every person walking on the planet knows is a good practice to teach.
Now, we typically review just a workout program in this show, but this week we're taking a much more holistic view of this life because that is in fact what he reinforces through his message. With that said, he does have a free ebook on his website, which is cool, but the substance of it is relatively hollow. It simply reiterates the ancestral tenets without really offering any substance to help you put in an action plan.
With that said, the workouts are listed elsewhere on his site. The workouts are solid, but you can tell coaching isn't what Liver King really is here to promote.
The Liver King's main focus is on selling his supplement stack, similar to most of the fitness influencers around. With this in mind, we find ourselves at the next phase of our breakdown, which is the bad.
Everyone has to make money, and Liver King makes his by selling supplements. Honestly, it's a smart move. there's an incredibly high profit margin in the supplement industry, and he has struck gold with his marketing strategy. But there's a lot of hypocrisy baked into his sales pitch. The most glaring example being his commitment to an all-natural lifestyle when it's clear that he uses performance-enhancing drugs.
I mean, no one sits there with a six-pack like that and has body composition without having a little extra help. This alone is a very bad sign. Will you be healthier if you follow the majority of his tenets? Absolutely, but are you going to look like him? Hell no. Unless Liver King has found a human growth hormone tree during his primal walk, it is clear that he's getting some unnatural help along the way.
100%. This is clearly a red flag, and it is completely manipulative to do to uneducated customers.
People end up changing their lives around and expect to look like him in the process. When they don't, they buy loads of his supplements with the hope that they will help them look like the Liver King. Now, are tons of people doing this in the fitness industry? Absolutely, but it's a slap in the face with this dude. To hear him preaching about a holistic, natural, primal lifestyle where he encourages people to remain abstinent from drugs while he uses them is straight up deceptive.
In fact, on his third tenet, Move, he writes about how well-balanced movement trumps the need for consumption-based satisfaction such as food, painkillers, alcohol, and drugs. This isn't even bad, it's ugly. It is a straight up lie, which undermines the very essence of the good he is hoping to accomplish with his training program.
The entire pitch of the Liver King lifestyle has a badass structure which offers the potential for a lot of positivity, but the delivery of which has been butchered by the Liver King and his team. He has turned his mission into a clickbait-driven show aimed at capturing as much attention as possible to push as much product as possible.
I mean, you gotta give it to the man. He is fully committed to the role, but the content he has been putting out is becoming more and more cringeworthy as time goes on, and it's getting to the point where some of the things he is promoting probably isn't the best for his own health.
And finally, the ugliest part of the Liver King lifestyle is when it's time to put your money where your mouth is and you take the leap of digging into the Liver King menu, which can be found in the bold print on his website under the Eat Like a King tab. Here, you can download his daily menu, which never changes. The dude straight up eats the same thing every day. Ultimately, this is a unique judgment when deciding if the Liver King is a fit or a flop. Typically, we judge just the nature of the program, but in this episode, we find ourselves judging a lifestyle. There's a lot of fit and positive elements with his lifestyle, but the bottom line is we gotta give this a flop. And this is based on the misrepresentation that the Liver King marketing team portrays and the lack of practicality it has for the average person.
Even so, I am sure that we will continue to be captivated by the Liver King and his ancestral lifestyle as time goes on.
Now stay tuned to see who we're taking on with the next episode of Fit or Flop, because it's gonna be another one for the books.